Hi, it's January 20th, 2015. I am looking at something interesting here on the RSOE link. I love this link. First of all, I'm fascinated by what's under the ocean here, just the ridges, about, what happened there so many years ago. All these little symbols on here represent something like, let's see, biological hazard, explosion, which I'll get into sooner or later, terror attack. Now, they didn't used to have that on here, and I know we're going to be hearing more about that because, of course, the more afraid we are of a terror attack, the more we're going to be willing to let the government save us, perhaps. Okay, so this fascinated me here. This one, non-categorized event. So then if you just click on it, like that, then it tells you a little bit about it, but you can go over here to more details. And it will pop up. Sure, it will. Okay, let's try it again. More details. Okay, summary. This is just a real quick, doesn't really tell you a lot right there. Here's the description, though. Non-categorized event in Georgia, January 11, 2016. Georgia's security agency said Monday it has arrested 3 men suspected of peddling radioactive cesium, the latest in a series of operations against nuclear smugglers in the ex-Soviet nation. The agency said Monday that these men were arrested in the capital, and I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Tbilisi, probably saying it totally wrong, I apologize, while trying to sell an unspecified amount of cesium-137 for $137,000. It didn't say when the arrest was made or give any other details. How curious. Cesium-137 is a byproduct of, now this is very important to know this, it's a byproduct of nuclear reactors. Why do you need to know that? Because it is used for various medical and industrial purposes. It's also used for weapons. But so the nuclear power plant makes money, and then they use it for medical industrial purposes and for weapons. Georgia and some other ex-Soviet nations have seen numerous attempts at contraband trade in radioactive substances because there's a lot of money in it. There have been fears that if such material fall into the hands of extremists, they could be used in a dirty bomb, a device intended to contaminate large areas using conventional explosives. Georgia has relied on assistance from the U.S. to combat nuclear smuggling. Georgia law enforcement agencies have arrested dozens of suspected traders in radioactive substances over the past several years. And then, I don't know if you ever think about this with businesses, but when you're running a business and you want to make money, you want to be the top dog. You want to be the one who's making all the money. And so, there's a lot of businesses that will say that these people are bad or their product's bad or whatever. So the United States, for example, joining in with this effort to get rid of this product being sold by smugglers, is also to protect its own business of radioactive substances that is used intensely in the medical field, and there's a lot of money in it. There's a lot of money in it. Okay, so that's one thing, but I was curious about this cesium-137, so I thought I'd look it up. So here this is from Stanford University. Cesium-137, a deadly hazard. And I'll have the link below for this. Cesium-137 is among the most common heavy fission products. Fissions of various isotopes of thorium, uranium, and plutonium all yield about 6% cesium-137. This high fission yield results in an abundance of cesium-137 in spent nuclear fuel, as well as in regions contaminated by fission byproducts after nuclear accidents. The large quantities of cesium-137 produced during fission events pose a persistent hazard. So what they're saying is that there's so much of it that, of course, people are going to be involved in selling it. Its half-life of about 30 years is long enough that objects and regions contaminated by cesium-137 remain dangerous for humans for a generation or more, but it is short enough to ensure that even relatively small quantities of cesium-137 release dangerous doses of radiation. Okay, so here's the legacy of cesium-137. As most of us know about the Chernobyl nuclear power plant accident. I did not know about this, and I'm not sure how to pronounce this either. Goiânia. So that story is, let's see if I can find it, blah, 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 blah. Oh, here we go. A much smaller nuclear accident involving cesium-137 occurred in Goiânia, Brazil in 1987. A thorough account of the entire affair was published by the International Atomic Energy Agency in 1988. And the story is really fascinating. The accident was initiated when two men who were looking for old equipment to sell for scrap broke into an abandoned medical clinic. Medical clinic, okay. And they left this here. They found a radiation therapy device left behind. Upon ripping apart the device, the men discovered about 30 grams of this, which I wondered what that was. So we'll look at that in a minute. The men were immediately attracted to it because of its glowing blue color. I wonder how long the place was closed and it was still glowing. So then this owner of a junkyard purchased a device, and several people involved with looting the device and the release of this chemical fell morbidly ill with radiation sickness. Brazilian authorities declared a local state of emergency, and within days the vast majority of the cesium-137 had been contained. Whereas they're talking about it, Chernobyl, in comparison, only a few people were killed or sickened by the cesium-137 in Goiânia. So what is that? So then I looked this up, cesium chloride. Cesium chloride is used in isopsonic centrifugation for separating various types of DNA. It is a reagent in analytical chemistry where it is used to identify ions by the color and morphology of the precipitant. When enriched in radioisotopes, such as, and here's that chemical. So that chemical is a radioisotope. And it's used in nuclear medicine applications, such as the treatment of cancer and the diagnosis of myocardial infarction, which is a heart attack. Another form of cancer treatment was studied using the conventional non-radioactive CSCL. Okay, so then they talk about that accident here. Down here farther, somewhere, they talk about how people died from the cancer treatment. But look at this structure of the atom of it. The cesium chloride structure adapts a primitive cubic lattice with two atom bases where both atoms have an 8-fold coordination. That's really pretty. And it is also square for those people who say there's nothing square in nature. There it is. Okay, so let's go back. What I want to do is show you a few other things on RSOE. Let's just go back because, okay, let me pause it a second. Okay, there's quite a few interesting things, but this explosion, which happened today, is in a fireworks factory. Fireworks factory blew up in the early hours Wednesday in southeast China. You should look that up on Google. It doesn't look as fascinatingly beautiful as you might think. 4 people are still missing. 53 people were taken to the hospital. Wow. Okay, here's a video made by New China. Okay, so this video shows a little bit of it. I love that when it lets me know that it's in full screen. But see, like if you're expecting a fireworks factory with fireworks all over the sky, like a holiday celebration, this doesn't look like that at all. And the person speaking in the background here doesn't sound like it's very, like it's a good thing. So the link for this will be below. We'll just watch it a second here. But this goes on for quite a long time. New China also has a video from the air, and it's a very widespread area where the explosions are happening. Okay, so we'll just go back again to the RSOE. The other thing that I really like about this, there's a lot of things that they, like when you look down, this is an ongoing spooky, freaky thing in California where the methane is leaking and it is horrible. It's considered worse than the BP oil disaster in the Gulf in the United States. So this tells you things that happened recently right here. This is curious vehicle incident. So this is all on the link that will be below. And then long time events, earthquakes, tsunami information, volcano activity, supervolcanoes, and Earth approaching objects. If you're interested in any of this, if you're not, you don't have to look at it. No big deal. So we'll go back up here a minute because one of the other things that I really like about this is that, like, let's say I want to go look over here. I can take this little guy and I can go down and look at some pictures of the area. And they're not of today. They're taken sometime. But it kind of like makes it a little more real. Okay, and then we'll just get out of this one for okay, so then I'm back on the main site. Let's get the little guy back up. I can move this around anywhere and oh my god, what's this? Over by my house. Oh yeah, that's the lead in the water pipes in Flint, Michigan. But let's just see what it looks like around Flint, Michigan.